Hello, Liz.
Hi, Glenn.
I spoke to you yesterday, and we were both pretty raw at the time. How are you doing this morning?
I'm in a fog of grief, Glenn. I think that a lot of us are. I feel it still feels very unbelievable what happened to our dear friend Charlie Kirk. I feel like I'm floating up outside of my body, in a sense, watching all of this unfold. It's quite something to see the reaction from the American people over this assassination. I think you're correct when you say that our country has changed forever. I think this is one of the most significant, not just political assassinations, but political events that we've experienced since the inception of our country. And I think I've been praying about this since you and I spoke for so long yesterday. I've been thinking about this endlessly, obviously on my knees praying for sweet Erica and Charlie and Erica's two babies. But I think one of the things that has happened in the last 24 hours is people in our country, and I don't even want to say conservatives, I don't want to say right-wingers, because it's not just that, have realized that Charlie is so normal. He's not radical. He's not extreme. He's not bombastic. He's not edgy. He's just a regular guy. And he's kind. And they killed him because of those beliefs and opinions, those principles and values, Glenn, that we share with him. And you and I work in this industry, and we've written a lot of books about this political enemy that we face, and we talk about it a lot. But for the majority of the American people, this is the first time, Glenn, that they're realizing exactly who this political enemy that we face is. And it's jarring and it's gut-wrenching, because they realize that just as easily as they assassinated Charlie Kirk and are now dancing on his grave, they want to do that to us too.
Liz, and I know you do, I have such faith in the Lord. And I don't know how our lives end. I don't know how things work out. But I know everything that happens is used for his good. There is no way to thwart God's plan. You can make getting there harder. You can make getting there more painful. But if we trust in him, great and glorious things are going to happen because of this.
Charlie once said...
Go ahead.
Charlie once said, when someone asked him what he wanted to be known for the most, and he wore a lot of hats, so he could have picked a lot of different accomplishments and identities, and he said he wanted to be known for his faith. And it's so powerful. You and I are clinging to God right now. Everyone sitting here with us is clinging to God. I'm literally sitting here gripping a rosary as we talk. Evil happens in our world, and we all ask that question, why? Why does God allow bad things to happen to good and innocent people? And, as Father Mike Schmitz reminded us yesterday, when evil happens, that is not God's perfect will. It is God's permissive will, which is very different. God allowed Charlie's death to happen, but he did not want it to happen. God values human freedom and can bring about a greater good through these allowed events, but God does not cause evil. He uses it to achieve his higher purpose. When sometimes we don't know what that is, and I'm human, I find it very difficult not to have an immediate answer to, okay, what is that higher good? But it could be testing faith or demonstrating compassion, teaching people how to uphold his perfect will of good. And if God were to remove evil from the human existence, he would also be removing our free will to love him and to love others. And he knows that despite the evil that he allows to exist in the world, this greater good can be achieved for eternity, which is where Charlie is now. And Glenn, there are a lot of bad people online right now, you know, celebrating Charlie's death and saying how ironic it was that Charlie was killed by a gun when he was a champion of gun rights. But do you want to know what the real irony is? The real irony is that Charlie, at this moment in eternity, I guarantee to you, Glenn, is praying for those who did this to him. We are not going to be silenced by an enemy who harms us. We are not going to back down. We are not going to be quiet. We are going to honor Charlie's legacy. We are going to care for and love Charlie's family. We are going to understand in a clearer sense exactly what we are up against. And it's going to, with God on our side, it is going to lead us to victory in a way that our country has not yet experienced, because we do have this binary choice. The left wants violence. The left wants civil war. The left wants to hurt us and kill us. But what's going to happen instead is these people in our country, people who are politically apathetic or lukewarm liberal or, you know, maybe right wing, but not that active in politics, the same thing is going to happen as a result of Charlie's assassination that happened after the Black Lives Matter riots or after the COVID vaccine mandates, where people realized that the other side does not want the best for us, that the other side during the Black Lives Matter riots was willing to falsely accuse us of being racist when that wasn't true, or during COVID to tell us that we couldn't go to church and worship God and we had to take their medical product because they said so and they didn't care about the harm. Glenn, this is that times 1,000. People are now looking out across our country, realizing that there are subversive forces and not just a radical, lunatic, madman, isolated incident. There are radical forces who want to kill us. And the awakening that's going to happen, the eye-opening, you are going to see churches filled with people turning to God. You are going to see politics, a swell of good people who want to stand for normalcy and common sense. 2 million, 5 million, 10 million new Charlie Kirks are going to be minted because of this. And that's hard to picture in this moment. And there will be hard choices to make because we're angry right now and the left is taunting us. But I have so much faith. I have so much faith in what Charlie did and in the prayers that he is going to be bathing our country in now from eternity.
Another friend of Charlie Kirk's and a good friend of our program and mine, Steve Deace, who follows me on BlazeTV. Steve, I know it has been a hard 24 hours. How are you holding up?
I'm pretty devastated. I think I have sobbed more, Glenn, in the last 18 hours than I probably did since the night of my own conversion. Mm-hmm. I'm angry, and I know a lot of people are. And there will be a time after we need to mourn first, Glenn, because otherwise the anger will come out destructively. And it needs to come out, but constructively. And I think we have to mourn first. I think Charlie's legacy as a father, husband, friend, patriot merits that. And I think tpusa and his family need that. But in the not too distant future, we're going to have to get the message that was sent here. He was the best of us. When you saw him behind the scenes or in public, genuinely kind, generous. Too many pastors and ministry leaders thought they were too good for Charlie and tpusa. Didn't want to get their hands dirty, and yet and claimed they were being seeker friendly. And yet he was the one that sought out the seekers. He went to the places that those nicer than God pastors didn't go to, and he took the bullet. That frankly, that's part of their calling that they're supposed to take. And I hope in a good way it shames some of them this morning, that they wake up and they realize that they have slept on the job. And that's why somebody like Charlie had to do their job for them. And as Charlie named his own organization, this is a turning point. We're never going back to the way things were before. What we do next will decide whether or not they are better. And as one of Charlie's biggest supporters and donors texted me this morning, we can only pray that out of one, many will rise up.
That's a guarantee. That is an absolute guarantee that is going to happen. When the tyrant is killed, his reign is over. Mm-hmm. When the martyr is killed, his reign has just begun. And make no mistake, for liberty, Charlie Kirk was a martyr. He was assassinated and martyred yesterday. And I hope that America, I wish America could know him the way we knew him, because he was such a generous man. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter who you were or what rank in life you were. If you needed help, he was there. And no matter how busy he was, everything stopped and he would help you. And I saw it in him over and over and over again. And I wish people could see that, because this cartoon character where they're making him into this bomb thrower, he was anything but. I mean, he would have the greatest conversations with people. I mean, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit through that nonsense. But he could, and he could logically and peacefully have a great conversation with people who despised him. And that was so important for the healing of our nation. And I really think that that's one of the reasons why he was killed. Not just because he was effective at what he did, but because he was healing us. Something that is really vital to happen. He was healing all of those divides.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And if you just look on social media and see so many people in our movement who have such incredible, people I don't know, people that don't know me, such incredible testimonies of everything you just said in their interactions with Charlie. We had a very divisive presidential primary. And to be honest, I didn't always handle it well. One of the first people I heard from when it was over was Charlie. And he texted me and he said, "Don't give up. We need you." He didn't have to do that. He won. And he's got the bigger platform. He's got the bigger show. He didn't have to do that. But those are the kinds of things leaders do. And the void that is left here is massive. And at my lowest point I've ever had in my faith, the Lord said something to me that will stay with me the rest of my life. And he said, "Stephen, I'm sorry. Stephen, I need apostles, not assassins." And I want to share that with your audience, because to win the fight that is going to come after this, that is what will be required. If you know me, this isn't about being a pansy. Apostles rebuke, but they don't seek revenge. Apostles confront, but they don't condemn. The apostles did something that Hannibal couldn't do. No other civilization in the Fertile Crescent could do. They conquered the Roman Empire. They set the stage for Western civilization. And they did not do it because they were passive and they sat on the sidelines and they were nicer than God and they wore pleated khakis and Hawaiian shirts year-round with sweater vests. They did it because they got their hands dirty. They did it because they did the kinds of things we saw Charlie do. Build infrastructure, direct, lead, guide. I mean, we would have to have a literal conclave, Glenn, and come with literally everyone in our business and movement and come up with divisions to do all the various things Charlie himself was leading and doing. And that organization was. I told Charlie at dinner recently, it's like you are like if Rush Limbaugh and the Heritage Foundation had a baby. This is what you and tpusa are. And that's what it's going to take to fill that void. And I can't, I'm sure with the size of your audience, my inbox, my wife is going through it as we speak. It is full of people. You were right. I have to get off the sidelines. I have to do something. My buddy Sloan over at tpusa texted me yesterday. He goes, Steve, I can't tell you how many pastors we're hearing from. They thought they were too pious for us, too good for us. And now the stakes have been raised. They're getting it. And I'm just so sorry that it took two little children and their mom's family away from them for more people to get the message. And I want to specifically challenge my generation, Gen X. No more grunge. No more we're too cool for school. No more, well, everything sucks. Nothing we can do. No more. That was a 31-year-old man doing the work as a young father and husband. Frankly, it wasn't his time to do yet. He has other primary duties that he should have been given the benefit of devoting to as a husband and father. But our generation has sat on the sidelines for too long. We must lead. It is our children now that are grown, that are leaving the nest. We are the ones with the free time. We are the ones with the discretionary income. It is our time now to lead, to stop bitching and complaining about boomers. And I say that to me more than anybody else, and to stop looking around like we're still listening to Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots and Soundgarden, and nothing's going to get better. It is time now to lead. This is our moment. And we are the ones that are in place to do this with the positions of our families and with our productivity and prosperity. We have to step to the forefront now.
Such great good will come out of this, Allie. I know this is a tough day for you, and thank you for joining me.
Yeah. God is in the business of redemption. He is in the business of thwarting Satan's schemes. He is in the business of bringing beauty out of ashes. He is in the business of bringing glory to himself and bringing people to himself. And if Charlie had had the choice, if someone had been able to come to him and say, okay, this is what your death will accomplish. It will accomplish more people hearing the gospel. It will accomplish more people waking up. I know that if Charlie had had that choice, he would have said yes. He would have said, yes, Lord, send me. And not only would he have, but he did. He went into the lion's den, and now he is with the Lion of Judah. Now he is with Jesus, and everyone is going to know who he was and why he lived and the gospel that motivated him. And that is the only thing right now that is giving me any hope or any peace or any comfort.
I know that all I could think of yesterday was how glorious the greeting must have been on the other side. Yeah. You know, good, well done, good and faithful servant.
Yes, absolutely. And before any of us heard the news, before his sweet wife, Erica, got the phone call, he was already hearing those words. And I am so happy for him. I'm so happy that he's with the saints and the martyrs and the persecuted through which the Church of Christ has been advanced for millennia. I'm so happy for him. But I'm so sad for us. I'm so sad for us. Heaven gained an incredible person, but we lost a huge presence.
That's how I know when people have faith. They don't weep for the dead. They weep for the loss to themselves and to the world and to the families that are hurting. They mourn that loss on themselves, but they when they think of the person who has died, they know exactly where they are. Yep. And with Charlie, I mean, I knew him when he was 17 and he was a good kid, but what a change happened to him. He was on fire for Christ, on fire for that.
Yes, absolutely. He grew into, over the past 5 to 10 years, such a theologically deep and apologetically astute man of God as he became a husband, as he became a father, as he became even more of a warrior for truth. And that is really that's what inspired me. And when I heard the news yesterday, my first thought was, that's it. I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. That is it for me. I'm not willing to do this anymore. And then later, after he died, I went through some of the texts that he had sent me over the years. He was always sending everyone, all of his friends, these very encouraging texts. And he sent me this article from a liberal outlet that, of course, had taken some jabs at me, that had made me anxious. And he said, "Well done. Keep slugging." And I just know that if he were here, that's exactly what he would say. Not just to me, but to all of us. He would say, "No, you can't get out now. You got to keep going. You got to keep going." That's exactly how he would feel, and that's exactly what he would tell all of us.
I have received so many emails from people who have said, "I don't know how to get back up again."
Yeah.
And I don't know what to tell them other than faith in God. Faith in God. I think if our side, if you will, boy, I hate that in this context, but if we didn't have God, we'd be very much like the left right now. We would be mired in anger and screaming for vengeance, and it would be a really ugly place today
Yes.
if we didn't have God.
Yes. And if Jesus wasn't raised from the dead, like if he wasn't resurrected, then we don't have a hope of a resurrection. If he didn't defeat death, then we can't defeat death. If Jesus didn't live forever, then we can't live forever. And that's exactly what Charlie always preached, what he always posted on X, what he always said. If you were to be able to text him right now and say, "Look, Charlie, I've got this really tough thing to talk about today, and I don't know how to say it. I don't know what to say. Well, what are your thoughts on it? What should I say?" I know exactly what he would say, the one word that he would text back, and that would be Jesus. Just tell him that. Just tell him that Jesus is the only way to fulfillment. That is what he would say. People may not realize that, but every time he went on a college campus, he wasn't just talking about capitalism or Donald Trump, and all those things are important. He shared the gospel. He knew that every single person that walked in front of him was made in the image of God with a soul that was going to live forever in one of two places. He desperately wanted the people who hated him to go to heaven. And I just pray that I can have that same boldness for the rest of my life.